For my sister's 21st, they rented a rooftop venue. For mine, Mom said, "We don't need to make a big deal." They bought a grocery store cake and sang off key that I smiled that I didn't argue. I just left. 5 years later, they still don't know where I live. The last time my family saw me, I was standing in our kitchen holding a plastic fork and a paper plate with my name spelled wrong in blue icing. They thought I went back to my apartment that night. I didn't. For my sister Amanda's 21st birthday, my parents rented a rooftop in downtown Phoenix. They had string lights, a DJ, a bartender who carded everyone even though it was a private event. There was a huge gold banner with her name on it. My dad made a speech about how proud he was of the woman she'd become. My mom cried. Amanda wore a white dress like she was the main character in a movie. For mine, 2 years later, my mom said we don't need to make a big deal. She picked up a sheet cake from Fry's on her way home from work. Vanilla with whipped frosting. They forgot candles. My dad found 2 old ones in a drawer and stuck them in the corner. 23 instead of 21. No one corrected it. Amanda didn't even show up. She texted that she was busy. I smiled through the song. I hugged my parents. I thanked them for dinner. Then I drove away and never came back. It wasn't just the birthday. That was just the moment everything snapped into place. Growing up, Amanda was the miracle. That's what they called her. She had asthma as a baby, then a minor surgery at 8, and the story never stopped evolving. Every holiday toast somehow circled back to how strong she was. Every school award she got was framed in the hallway. I had straight A's too. I played soccer. I worked part-time at 16 to pay for my own car insurance. My achievements went into a drawer in the kitchen. Literally. My mom kept my report cards next to takeout menus. Once when I was 17, I asked my dad why they never came to my games. He said Amanda had tutoring that day. Amanda did not have tutoring. I stopped asking after that. When I turned 21, I was already planning my exit. Not dramatically. Not impulsively. I had been saving for years. I worked 2 jobs after college. Kept my head down. I signed a lease in another state under just my first and middle name. Carla Marie instead of Carla Bennett. Felt like trying on a different skin. The night of the grocery store cake, I drove past my apartment and kept going. I crossed state lines before midnight. No one called that night. No one called the next day either. 3 days later, my mom sent a text asking if I had borrowed her casserole dish. That was the moment I understood something clearly. They were not going to come looking for me. So I made sure they couldn't find me even if they tried. I changed my phone number. I closed my social media accounts. I transferred my job remotely and told HR not to share forwarding information with anyone. I left no forwarding address. It has been 5 years. They still do not know where I live. And for most of that time I thought I had one. Until last month when a package showed up at my door with my full legal name on it. Not Carla Marie. Carla Bennett. No return address. Just my childhood handwriting on the label. And I am certain I did not send it. I stared at the package for a full 5 minutes before I touched it. It was a medium-sized brown box, the kind you grab from a post office shelf. My full name was written in black marker. Carla Bennett. The handwriting looked like mine from high school, rounded letters the way I always made my K too big. I hadn't written my last name in 5 years. My first thought was Amanda. It had to be. No one else would recognize that handwriting. I used to label my notebooks like that. He copied me constantly when we were kids. I brought the box inside and locked the door. There was no return address. Just a postage stamp from Arizona. Phoenix. I opened it on the kitchen floor. Inside was a photo album. The cheap kind with the plastic film you peel back. The cover was navy blue. I hadn't seen it since I was 18. I flipped it open. Every page was about me. Not Amanda. Not family vacations. Not the rooftop birthday. Just me. There was a photo of me at 7 holding a soccer ball with a gap in my teeth. A picture of me at 15 in my prom dress. A candid shot of me at 17 asleep on the couch with a textbook on my chest. Photos I didn't even know existed. Under each one was a short note in that same handwriting. You never saw this one. Dad took this. Mom said you hated this dress but you looked beautiful. My hands were shaking by the 3rd page. Halfway through the album I found something folded between 2 photos. A bank statement. My name on it. An account I didn't recognize. The balance made my stomach drop. $74,000. It had been opened the week after my 21st birthday. Automatic deposits every month for 5 years. From my father's business account. I sat there trying to make sense of it. If this was guilt money, why had no one tried to contact me? Why open an account in my name and never say a word? At the very back of the album was a single piece of paper. One sentence. We thought you knew. No signature. No explanation. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning I did something I swore I would never do again. I searched Amanda's name online. She wasn't hard to find. Her Instagram was public. Engagement photos. A diamond ring. A venue tagged for next spring. Hundreds of comments. And one post from 3 weeks ago that made my chest tighten. A black and white photo of our house. Captioned, "Some things fall apart before you even realize they were breaking." There were comments asking if she was okay. She hadn't replied to any of them. That same day the package arrived at my door. I still hadn't heard from my parents. So I called the bank listed on the statement instead. I gave them the account number. The woman on the phone went quiet. Then she said something that made everything worse. This account was flagged 2 days ago for immediate transfer. The beneficiary listed just showed up in person. And it wasn't you. I asked the bank to repeat that. The woman on the phone said the beneficiary showed up in person with identification and the original account paperwork. The withdrawal was scheduled but not completed yet because there was a verification hold. I asked for the name. She said she could not give me that over the phone unless I verified in person. The branch was in Phoenix. I hadn't been back in 5 years. I booked a flight that afternoon under Carla Marie. I told myself I was going for closure. For answers. For $74,000 that apparently had my name on it. The whole flight I kept thinking about that sentence in the album. We thought you knew. Knew what? When I landed, Phoenix felt smaller. Like someone had shrunk my childhood and left it out in the sun. I did not drive past my parents' house. I went straight to the bank. The branch manager met me in a glass office. I handed her my ID, my old social security card, the statement from the album. She studied everything carefully, then pulled up the account. "You are the primary account holder," she said. "The beneficiary is your sister, Amanda Bennett." I felt something settle in my stomach. Why would she try to transfer it? The manager hesitated, then said, "According to the notes, the beneficiary claimed you were deceased." I laughed because that made no sense. "I'm sitting here." She nodded. "That is why the transfer was flagged." My ears were ringing. When did she claim that? 2 days ago. The same day the account was flagged. The same week the package arrived. I asked if my parents had accessed the account recently. She checked again. The deposit stopped 8 months ago. There had been no activity until your sister came in. 8 months. What happened 8 months ago? The manager would not say more. She handed me printed copies of the account documents instead. My father's signature was on the original forms. So was mine. Except it wasn't. It was forged. Sloppily. Like someone trying to copy an old signature from memory. I walked out of that bank with a folder in my hand and one question stuck in my head. Why would Amanda tell a bank I was dead? I finally drove to my parents' house. The lawn was overgrown. The porch light was missing. There was a for sale sign planted crookedly in the yard. I stood there longer than I expected to. A neighbor across the street recognized me. "You're Carla, right?" I nodded. He looked surprised, almost uncomfortable. "I thought you weren't allowed to come back." The words hit harder than I expected. "What do you mean?" He scratched his chin. "Your sister told everyone you cut them off and threatened to sue if they tried to contact you. Said you changed your name and wanted nothing to do with the family. Your mom was a mess about it for months." I felt like the ground shifted. "I never threatened anyone." He shrugged. "Well, that's what we heard." I asked him where my parents were. He pointed to a smaller house 2 streets over. Downsized after the business collapsed. Business collapsed. My father's business was the only thing he ever prioritized over Amanda. I drove the 2 streets in a blur. Their new house was half the size of the old one. The blinds were drawn. I knocked. It took almost a full minute before someone opened the door. It wasn't my mom. It was Amanda. She looked thinner. Older. And for a second when she saw me she actually stepped back. "You're not supposed to be here," she said. I stared at her. "Apparently neither are you." Amanda didn't hug me. She didn't look relieved. She just stood in the doorway like I had shown up to ruin something carefully arranged. "You told people I threatened to sue Mom and Dad," I said. She glanced over her shoulder before answering. I had to explain why you disappeared. So you told them I was unstable. I told them what made sense. That wasn't an answer. I stepped inside without waiting to be invited. The house smelled like cleaning supplies and something burnt. It felt temporary, like they had not finished unpacking. Where are Mom and Dad? That was too quick. Out where? Appointments. Amanda's phone buzzed in her hand. She silenced it immediately. I held up the folder from the bank. He tried to transfer my account. Her face changed when she saw the papers. Not shocked. Not confused. Annoyed. That money isn't yours. It literally has my name on it. Dad opened it for me, she said. You left. You walked out. You don't get to disappear and still collect things. Collect things. $74,000 is not a forgotten sweater. I asked her why she told the bank I was dead. She looked at me like I was the one being unreasonable. Because legally it was easier than saying we don't know where she is. She said she. Not you. I stared at her. What happened 8 months ago? That question finally cracked something. Dad got sued. For what? Mismanagement. Fraud. I don't know all the details. My father ran a small contracting company. He was obsessive about paperwork. Numbers were the only thing he never messed up. Who sued him? A former partner. And the deposit stopped 8 months ago, I said. Amanda crossed her arms. They were putting money away for you. Every month. Since you left. Why? Because they thought you'd come back when you were ready. That didn't line up with what the neighbor said. You told everyone I cut you off. You did. I left. That's different. She laughed once. You left without a word. Do you know what that did to Mom? I thought about the casserole dish text 3 days after I disappeared. I think I have an idea. Her jaw tightened. You don't get to play victim now. Victim. I looked around the small living room. No framed awards. No gold banners. No rooftop photos. Just boxes and a couch that looked secondhand. Where are they, Amanda? She hesitated this time. At the hospital. My stomach dropped. What happened? She didn't answer right away. Her phone buzzed again. This time she looked at the screen and went pale. They're asking for you, she said. For me. Mom's been asking for you for weeks. Weeks. I haven't even been back in the state until today. Amanda swallowed. He thinks you already know. The hospital was 10 minutes away. Amanda drove. I followed in a rental car, watching her brake lights the entire way, trying to understand how I had somehow become the last person to know anything about my own family. When I walked into the room, my mom looked smaller than I remembered. Not fragile exactly, just reduced. Like someone had turned the volume down on her. She looked up when the door opened. Carla. Not surprised. Not confused. Just my name. I stepped closer to the bed. I hadn't prepared for what I was supposed to feel. Anger didn't show up. Neither did relief. You look the same, she said. You don't. That slipped out before I could filter it. She gave a faint smile. Cancer does that. The word hung in the air. Amanda had not said cancer. How long? A year, she said. Stage 3 when they found it. A year. The deposit stopped 8 months ago. Dad sold the business to pay for treatment, she added. That's why it collapsed. Sold. Not sued. I looked at Amanda, who was standing near the window staring at the floor. There was no fraud case, I said. Mom frowned slightly. Oh, so that was a lie. Why didn't you call me, I asked. My mom blinked like the question confused her. You told us not to. I never told you that. Amanda shifted. Mom continued. Amanda said you needed space. That you would reach out when you were ready. She said you were doing well and didn't want to be pulled back into family drama. I turned slowly toward my sister. You told them that. She finally looked up. You left. You changed your name. You vanished. What was I supposed to say? That you might come back if we begged hard enough. I said you threatened to sue if we tried to track you down, I added. Amanda's face tightened. I needed them to stop waiting by the phone. Mom looked between us. Silence filled the room. I stepped closer to the bed. The bank account, I said quietly. The money. Did you know about that? My mom nodded. Your dad insisted. He said if you ever came back you shouldn't have to start from nothing. We thought you knew about it, she said. Amanda told us you found out years ago. That you were angry about it. That you didn't want charity. I felt dizzy. That sentence in the album. We thought you knew. You sent the package, I asked. Mom looked confused. What package? Every piece slid into place at once. Amanda sent it. The photos. The note. The bank statement. You wanted me back because of the money, I said. Amanda's composure cracked. Oh. I wanted you back because I am tired of being the only one here. The words were sharp but honest. Mom closed her eyes. Your father is in the cafeteria, she said softly. He still checks your old email every week. 5 years. He still checked. I stepped out of the room before I said something I couldn't take back. In the hallway, Amanda followed me. You think I'm the villain, she said. I think you controlled the story, I answered. She looked exhausted. You left me alone with everything. And you erased me to make it easier. We stood there in the fluorescent light, neither of us willing to give an inch. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. I answered anyway. A man's voice. Is this Carla Bennett? Yes. This is Detective Harris with Phoenix PD. I'm calling about the report filed under your name last year. Report. Missing person, he said. Filed by your father. For a second I thought I misheard him. Missing person. Filed by your father, the detective repeated. We kept it open for 11 months. I looked at Amanda. She had gone completely still. I stepped farther down the hallway so she couldn't hear. When was this filed, I asked. Last spring. Your father came in himself. Said he believed you were in danger. Claimed someone was intercepting your communication. My chest tightened. Did he mention who? He said your sister was managing most of the family correspondence at the time. He was concerned some of your messages weren't reaching you. I stared at Amanda through the glass window of my mom's room. She was sitting now, head down, hands clasped. Why was the case closed, I asked. We received an email from an address that appeared to belong to you. It stated you were safe and did not wish to be contacted. It included personal details that matched our records. I had never sent that email. Can you forward it to me? There was a pause. Given that you're here and verifying your identity, yes. I'll send it. We ended the call. My phone buzzed 30 seconds later. The email was short. I'm not missing. I left by choice. If my family continues to pursue this legally, I will take action for harassment. Do not contact me again. Signed with my full legal name. Carla Bennett. At the bottom was a scanned copy of my driver's license. An old one. From before I moved. I walked back toward Amanda slowly. Did you ever log into my old email, I asked. She didn't answer. Did you ever use my old ID? Still nothing. Dad went to the police looking for me, I said. She looked up then. I was handling it. Handling what? Everything. Mom's appointments. The house. The business paperwork. The wedding deposits we had to cancel. Dad was spiraling. He thought you were dead in a ditch somewhere. I couldn't let him drag police into our mess. So you pretended to be me. Her silence confirmed it. You told them I didn't want contact. You told the bank I was dead. You told the neighbors I threatened to sue. You built a version of me that was easier to manage. Her voice was flat. You disappeared. I had to make it make sense. I let that sit between us. For years, I believed my parents didn't care enough to look for me. My father had filed a missing person report. He had kept checking my old email. He had been sending money every month in case I came back. The rooftop birthday, the grocery store cake, the drawer full of report cards. All of it still hurt. But it was no longer the whole story. Amanda stood up. What are you going to do, she asked. I thought about the account. The money she tried to transfer. The forged email. The lies that shaped 5 years of silence. Then I thought about my father sitting alone in a cafeteria, probably staring at his phone. I'm going to talk to Dad, I said. And after that. I met her eyes. I'm going to correct the record. He swallowed. Are you staying? I didn't answer that. Because for the first time in 5 years, leaving didn't feel like the only option. And staying didn't feel simple either. Feel simple either.